a little more than a month away from the election, and this strike, of course, could influence voters when it comes to casting their ballots. Joining me now is Ed Emmett with Rice University's Baker Institute with more on the impact. Ed, good morning. Thank you so much for your time this morning.
Good morning. Pleasure to be here.
You know, I was out there last week covering this and talking with experts. They were saying at the time, one day alone, it would take 6 days to just make up for what one shutdown, the impact one shutdown, one day would have on the economy.
Sure, that's correct. And you know, you had the interview with the trucker. He doesn't carry containers, so I'm not sure exactly why he was impacted the way he is. But those truckers who do carry the containers, they can only make a certain number of trips. They're regulated by number of hours they can serve. So it's not like if the containers build up, you can suddenly work twice as much to clear those docks. So that's the problem. Once the containers get here, and there are some ships that have already come, the docks have containers sitting all over them. You can see that in the camera. It just takes a while to clear those, and that's true not only in Houston, but Savannah, all the way up to New York, even up to Boston.
Yeah, these are ports all along the East Coast and Gulf Coast being impacted. We do know those shipments, those imports are coming in to the U.S. through ports along the West Coast, but that's going to take time. It's going to take money. And I want to ask you, how big of a sticking point this is, in your opinion, when it comes to the election, which is just a little more than 4 weeks out?
Well, the interesting aspect about this, the ship owners are pretty much all foreign-owned companies. And so you've got a U.S. labor union making demands of foreign-owned ship owners. How's that going to play politically? I mean, if you're running for office, do you take the side of the foreign ship owners or do you take the side of the U.S. workers? Then you get the third piece in there, and those are all the people that are impacted by it, and those are U.S. companies. So which side do they sort of weigh in on? I'm cautiously optimistic that people are going to come to their senses and we're going to get a resolution to this.
Do you think the candidates will play this up in the coming days, in the coming weeks?
No, I think for the coming days, I think the candidates are going to try and avoid this as much as possible, just because there's no clear-cut side that you want to be on. If it drags on and starts to impact the consumer, then you could see the candidates get involved. But I think for the first week, maybe even 2 weeks, you're not going to see a lot of impact either on the consumer or on the political race.
Yeah, I know there are a lot of moving parts to this situation. You talk about the foreign interest, right, within this matter. But yeah, at the end of the day, it is impacting everyday families living paychecks to paychecks. It is going to have an impact on them, whether it be short term or long term. What do you think this how will this weigh on them when it does come time for them to vote?
Well, I have to make one more point here. We keep talking about imports, but 70% of the U.S. exports that go by container go through these ports. So if you have a company that relies on selling goods to Europe or India or Africa, you're shut down too. And so that's going to be a piece that is really going to get people involved. And so I really do think it's going to come down to, when does the average company, the average wage earner start feeling the pinch?
Yeah.
And which side will they jump on? They're going to want a resolution. Right now, I don't think many people know exactly what the specifics are. It's noteworthy that the ILA has not gone on strike since 1977, almost half a century. So this is not a group that goes willy-nilly on strike on a regular basis. So I don't think generally people are willing to jump in and say one side's right, one side's wrong yet. But in a couple of weeks, they might start thinking that way.
Yeah. Anything else you'd like to say, sir?
No, I think it's important that we talk about Houston as an energy capital, because people think, oh, what's this going to do to us? Well, shipments like oil tankers and those types of ships aren't affected at all. And a lot of the major break bulk cargo isn't affected at all. This is mainly container and automobile traffic. And the containers The most immediate impact will be, in fact, fruits and vegetables, because those don't have a shelf life and they can't sit on a ship
Yeah.
for very long.
Yeah. And of course, also included from my coverage last week, I learned electronics too. Looking ahead to the holiday season, a lot of people are focused on that, and if there will be any impact there when it comes
And
to
most of the major retailers have sort of covered themselves, thinking this
Correct.
could happen, and so they've stocked up their distribution centers,
Yeah.
at least for a few weeks.
Yeah, and deviated those routes to the West Coast. Ed, Emmett, thank you so much for your time this morning. We do appreciate it.
Thank you.